Want to know how to make Starbucks iced horchata espresso at home for a quarter of the price? Stay tuned and I'll show you 2 flavor hacks that make it taste even better than the real thing. I know you're ready, so let's get started. We're going to begin by building the horchata base. And for the first ingredient, we'll need 1 cup of almond milk. And you can use any type of almond milk that you want. But I recommend sticking with traditional almond milk and staying away from any artificial flavors. When you have your 1 cup of almond milk ready, go ahead and add it to your blender container. For the second ingredient, we'll need 1 cup of rice milk. Rice milk is used because it's the closest to the traditional Mexican version. The traditional version was made by soaking white rice with cinnamon and water. I like it because it gives the drink a light, slightly sweet flavor. It makes it creamy without using any dairy. I found this organic rice milk at Target. It was pretty easy to find. But I'm sure any type of rice milk will work great. When you have your 1 cup of rice milk ready, go ahead and add it to your blender container. Now it's time for the third ingredient, and this is a sweet one. It's 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. I like maple syrup due to its unique flavor profile. But if you don't like maple syrup, or you just don't have any handy, you can use 1.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar instead. I promise I'll try not to judge. When you have your 1 tablespoon of maple syrup ready, go ahead and add it to the other ingredients in the blender. Speaking of distinct flavors, next up is 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. When I think of this iced horchata shaken espresso recipe, cinnamon is one of the main flavors that comes to mind. So it's one of the main ingredients in this horchata base. When you have your 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon ready, go ahead and add it to the other ingredients in the blender. And here's how it should look after the ground cinnamon has been added. We're almost there, only 2 more ingredients left in the base. And next up is one of my old favorites, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Many of you already know how much I love vanilla. This is our awesome Lone Goose Bakery vanilla extract, but many of you will already have vanilla extract in your kitchen. No matter what brand you're using, I recommend extract made with natural vanilla beans like ours. And when you have your 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract ready, go ahead and add it to the other ingredients in your blender. Now we're ready for the final ingredient of the horchata base. And it's a pinch of salt. And after you've added in that tiny bit of salt, your base is ready. Ready to be blended. If you don't have a blender, a whisk will work, but I highly recommend using a blender. It makes things much easier. Make sure to securely fasten your lid before blending. You don't want to make a huge mess. And here we go. I selected the smoothie setting, but you'll just want to ensure that it blends for roughly 1 minute. And you can already see that it's blending very nicely. While our base is blending, it's a great time for our quick goose fact. Did you know that geese molt and go flightless for around 1 month every summer? They definitely take their summer downtime seriously. And now back to blending. After around 1 minute, your base should be finished blending. And when it finishes blending, this is how the base should roughly appear. This recipe makes roughly 2 cups of the quick horchata base. And the actual iced horchata shaken espresso that we're getting ready to make uses only a 1/2 cup. So this base is enough for 4 drinks. I suggest chilling this base in the fridge for at least 20 to 30 minutes before we make the actual drink. Alright, while our base continues to chill, let's start making the actual horchata shaken espresso. I say shaken because I start out with this 24-ounce standard cocktail shaker. But if you don't have a shaker like this one, no worries. You can just use a mason jar with a lid. You can also use any other container with a secure lid. Alright, now that we got that part out of the way, let's begin with the first ingredient. And that's espresso. I recommend using a double shot of espresso. But if you like your drinks on the bolder side, feel free to use a triple shot of espresso instead. But if you don't have an espresso machine, no worries. Just brew 4 ounces of very strong coffee instead. I love making this espresso, the sight of it never gets old. Alright, now that we have our espresso or coffee ready, let's go ahead and add it to our shaker or mason jar. Just be careful not to spill any. Alright, it's looking great, and now we're ready for the next ingredient. And it's another one of my favorites. You'll know why. It's 1 tablespoon of vanilla syrup. This is our small batch vanilla syrup that we currently have for sale. You'll just have to verify that it's in stock. My wife and I actually created the recipe during COVID when everything was shut down, but that's a whole other story. No matter what brand you choose, try to use syrup made from natural vanilla beans. And when you have your 1 tablespoon ready, go ahead and add it to your shaker. Now we're ready for the next ingredient, and it's time to cool things down a bit. And we're going to be using 1 cup of ice. It's even fine if you use 1 1/4 cups, but I would not exceed 1 1/2 cups of ice. You might run out of room in your glass at the end. When you have your ice ready, go ahead and add it to your shaker. And after your ice has been added, it should look something like this. Next, make sure to securely fasten the lid. Then shake all the ingredients together for approximately 1 minute. Alright, with video magic, I was able to speed that part up. The mixture was so cold, the outside of the shaker had frost on it. You might want to wait a couple minutes for the foam to dissolve. Clearly, I did not. But the next step is to add the mixture to your finished glass. I ended up waiting for the foam to dissolve after I added it to the finished glass, but that was fine as well. Alright, here's how it should look after all that foam dissolves. And the next step is to bring out an old friend. It's time to take out the horchata base that's been chilling in the fridge. Remember, you'll only need 1/4 cup. You can save the rest of it for 3 future shaken espressos. I knew this next part was going to be exciting, but I was blown away with how it looked in person. When you have your 1/4 cup ready, go ahead and add it on top of the other shaken ingredients in your chosen glass. Make sure to go slow and don't overfill. And just sit back and look at how amazing this is. At this point, only a couple steps left before this drink is ready to enjoy. Next up, we need to stir everything together with a metal straw or spoon. And finally, add a dash of ground cinnamon on top and your drink is ready to enjoy. But while you're enjoying, check out some of the custom artwork my son made for your viewing pleasure. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on future coffee recipes with their associated artwork. You can see that we're a small but growing channel and it really does mean a lot. Alright, I know this iced horchata shaken espresso is a bit longer than some of our other simpler recipes, but it does get faster after you have that extra base made up, and it is well worth it. It's earned its place as one of my summer favorites, and I hope it will for you as well. Now that we've created this horchata recipe, you need something quicker for when you're in a hurry. Check out our popular iced caramel macchiato recipe and I'll see you there.